No cheese. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Come find a seat or a corner of the room. Tuck yourself away. Happy New Year.
Yes.
We're just talking about when it's still appropriate to say Happy New Year.
I think we're just past it now.
It's 14th of Jan.
Yeah, if you're not into your full scale of building your business by now, then you're asleep. So.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you've all had a good one and been recharged and ready to hit the new year flying. I know it's certainly for me. I don't know. I feel like over the break and everything, you get ideas and yeah, it's a good time.
Who's ready for 2025? Yeah?
Whether or not.
Yeah, whether or not you like it, it's coming.
It's here. Cool. Well, yeah, so welcome. This is Morning Startup. If you haven't heard of Morning Startup before, we do this every 2 weeks and talk about startup stuff, get a whole bunch of smart people in the room and put on an interesting speaker. My name's Scott Glue.
My name's Dave Newman. We are founders along with the lovely Nita here and Erin at the back.
Woohoo! Yeah.
So our mission is every 2 weeks to bring you a presenter, rain, hail or shine, to basically share some insights so you can learn from some of the mistakes that we make as founders so that hopefully you don't make them as well. And also to get something, and also give you food, not coffee today. We hope to get you coffee next week, next time.
Yes.
But also just more importantly, some really important insights.
Absolutely. So just on the coffee thing, like we had Tech On as a sponsor. Love them. They're awesome. They're just focusing efforts other places this year. So
They've gone east.
They're going east. Well, they're also still in Perth. They're also still doing stuff here. Do you want to actually do? Yeah. Here's the mic for Matt. Put you on the spot. What are you doing?
Hi everyone. For those that don't know me, Matt, I'm working for TechOn. So I was here in Perth for 2 years. I'm now moving back home. I'm not from Perth originally, I'm from Sydney. So family, friends, they're all over there waiting for me. Sorry, I'm leaving. I will be back though to do some more stuff. Obviously some CTO events and some of our meetups and things that we're working on this year. But yeah, love the community, love being part of Morning Startup as much as possible, doing the summaries on social media. And yeah, meeting all you new guys, all the new founders every 2 weeks, sorry. So yeah, this is not sayonara, this is matane in Japanese, it just means see you next time. So
fantastic. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting Morning Startup over the past couple of years, how long you've been doing this. It's been really appreciated. So thank you, TechOn. Just one last round of applause. Yeah, and we've had a range of companies interested in taking over the coffee sponsorship, so I'm thinking we'll just have like a cage match up here.
I think, yeah, or like a Bronco, and I know who my money's on, but yeah.
All right, stay tuned. But what we'd like to do first is get to know you guys. Who's new here? Who hasn't been to Morning Startup before? Who would like to do a shameless plug?
Yeah, who wants to stand up, introduce yourself, do a shameless plug? Always have that ask. We'll go that way back.
Hello everyone, thanks for having me. It's an awesome event. My name's Ethan. I've started my own startup called ACIT. It's a tool for job interviews, for preparing and for real-time help in your job interview. And yeah.
Fantastic. What's it called?
ACIT.
ACIT. Okay.
ACIT.
I like it.
I aced it. Like it.
Okay.
Hi guys, Hector Medrano here. I'm not in a startup yet. I've been doing mining for over years. I work for a startup based in America, reliability engineer, but I'm looking forward to create my own startup and also help some startups in Perth as much as I can and do a small transition to it.
Awesome.
Who else? Anyone before we get back? Anyone else want to? There we go.
Hi everyone, I'm JK. I am doing a startup on feature flagging to help developers and software teams release code faster and safer into production. So,
cool. Like a CI/CD tool.
Sorry.
You got an ask? Like, what do you want now? How can
What do I want now? Well, if you are struggling to get software out at least more than once daily, then I'd love to talk to you to help you with that. And if anyone wants to release software to specific cohorts of people or 1 or 2 people at a time just to see if those new changes work, I can help.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Moving back. There we go.
Thank you. I'm Lou Zavada. I am a leadership coach and a change consultant, so not in the startup space, but deal with a lot of organisations, small, medium and large, particularly supporting leaders navigating really complex change, which hence startup.
That's the thing. Cool. Thanks for coming.
Going back, let's go that way.
Hi, my name is Adil Alam. I am a chemical engineer by trade, and I've worked in oil and gas and mining industries all my life. And I've just started this company where I can provide engineering services to the other companies at very low cost. So I've designed a model, and I've just made the company. I don't know how to market it or sell it because that's not my field. So I've never done something like this. So
Getting the word out.
yeah.
Can anyone help him get the word out about his company? Oh, look, it's a lovely gentleman behind you.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Brad. I'm from Rise Collaboration. We are bringing big business project management tools and methodologies to startups, not-for-profits and government organisations to help them sort of empower them, to help them hit their goals and achieve their strategic targets. So if you're interested in any of that sort of stuff, just give us a buzz and I'll see how those tools can help you.
Awesome.
Hi, my name's Jared. I'm from Perfect Web Solutions. We're a digital marketing agency. At the moment, we're offering startups a 4-week free trial. So if anyone in the room wants to talk to me, we help grow organically without having to spend a lot of money. So if anyone's interested, just hit me up at the end of the...
Sounds terrible. Grow organically without spending any money. 4 weeks free.
I know.
All right.
But we like to help founders.
And you said
Perfect Web Solutions.
Perfect Web Solutions.
Yes,
All
we've
right.
been running for about 7 years. So I've been in the advertising industry for over 30 years as a photographer and a film guy. So I have a team of people that we also have a business coach. So we don't just do digital marketing. So we help organically grow your business.
Very cool.
Hello, my name's Ruben Files. I am with Jared. I am the videographer for Perfect Web Solutions. I also do run my own business as well on the side as well for videography. So weddings, corporate events, birthday parties, whatever you need. I'm your guy.
All right. I think we might have to have a few more cage matches up here when we get to our official sponsors.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Friend. I'm the CEO of a startup biotech company. If you think tech startup is hard, you should try biotech. It's interesting. But the other reason I'm here today is I am a co-founder of a company called VentureX HQ. VentureX HQ is designed at helping female founders grow and scale their business. And most importantly, one of our missions is to help encourage new investors into the tech investment space. So we're running a major event in conjunction with the Commonwealth Bank on the 5th of March. If any of you want to be investors and want to look at investing as an angel, starting off small, being part of a cohort that does the due diligence and everything for you, please have a look on LinkedIn or Facebook, join VentureX and come along to the event on the 5th. Thanks.
That's this, right? We got an email about that. I've got a slide and everything. Cool.
One more. We've got one more. There we go.
Hey everyone, Stuart from Claris. We help financial advisors sort of turn their client conversations into documentation. We've been going about 6 months. We've got about 90 paying customers on board, which is going well. We want to get accountants on board. So if you do know any accountants or are one, love to chat. Really cool. Love to chat. I hear you guys have kind of got some increased requirements for documentation. So yeah, love to chat. And also, we need to get cyber insurance. So if you've got any recommendations, let me know.
Ooh, okay.
There's a new company actually for cyber. It's just, or they're an insurance company. I forget who they are, but they're quite cool because they come in and they actually do an audit on you. So you get both the insurance and the audit at the same time. I will dig them out. They're an American company, massively growing goals, but they've just opened an office here in APAC. So I'll dig it out. One more.
Thank you. Hi, this is so scary. My name is Alice. Have been here since September. Right now, I'm working as a freelancer, so I'm doing copywriting job, and I work as a content creation. So this is absolutely new for me, but thanks to Matt, I'm here. And I would love to know more about startup and the market in Australia because I came from Italy, so
Fantastic.
Bye.
Copywriting, and do you do video as well and all that?
Yeah, but more like graphic related.
Got it. Cool.
Are,
All
you,
right.
are you looking for work?
Yes,
Is contract or permanent?
contract.
Fantastic. Well, awesome. So we'll have a half-hour networking session after the talk today, so get to know each other and, yeah. Okay. Our shameless plugs for the people that help us out every week putting on food and all of this stuff. So first of all, the Department of Jobs, Science, Tourism and Innovation, JITSI, and the New Industries Fund. So if you're a startup and you need money, there's some awesome programs. They've got the Innovation Booster Grants, the IBGs, 40 grand. Just submit your application and that's rolling. Although I know the government's in a bit of, because we've got an election coming up, I don't know if there's any more sittings for the rest of the year.
I don't think there is. I think everything's going to go on hold for a bit. But,
Yeah, so later in the year you should be able to apply for those. As well as the commercialisation bridge grants, if you're more of a scale-up, there's like $200,000 of match funding.
But don't take our word for it. Go and visit the website and check for yourself.
Yes, there's a whole range of cool programs. Thank you. And they put on our live streaming, which is courtesy of perthvideo.com.au. If you want to check out the live stream, /Morning Startup Perth with hyphens, or scan the QR code, get in there.
And that's actually a really good, I was going to mention about there, some of you wanting to learn about different things. There is so much IP and content on those pages from all of our previous presenters that you're going to go and learn some really valuable sort of skill sets and knowledge about running a business, from marketing through to business models through to pitching.
It's a really good point. It's not just the live stream, it's all of our past events as well, so check it out. Ammo Marketing. I don't have Jack or anyone here, but they have been helping us out since the pandemic with just the meetup fees and putting pizzas on the table at Founder Sundowner and stuff, which I actually skipped through. But yeah, they've, if you need some marketing assistance, check them out and subscribe to their Weird Growth podcast. Get on your podcast player and subscribe to that. Some really good interviews with Perth-based founders. The last one they did at West Tech Fest at the end of the year. And yeah, that was a good one.
Did you know he was the founder of
PIN
Yes.
Payments? Yeah. And they got acquired. And did you know out of PIN Payments, there's a whole bunch of other people that have now started big companies. BuildKite is in Perth, or started in Perth. There you go. So yeah, subscribe.
Beecham Group, Glenn. There's actually some interesting stuff. Do you want to give just a very, I know we're running behind, but hey, it's the start of the year and you sent me a really interesting email.
This should be a segment. Glenn's tips for the month.
I'll do 30 seconds. So young Dave and I had just a quick chat. He was delighted by the fact that his application rates for his hiring were off the charts. He was loving it. And I said, be careful, mate, because the stats are off the charts at the moment. So it's a bit like it was like champagne glass at the moment, right? So the people that actually come down through the bottom that you actually want to hire are still 2 or 3. You might have 100 applicants going to the role. So that's part one. And the part two that I said, statistically at the moment, guys, the application rates are high because there's actually bots that people are using now to apply. So a combination of ChatGPT, so just under 50% of the resume information is not quite correct. And secondly, the applications are done automatically. So you might want a software developer role. The other thing you're going to get is a lot of people that will be applying for the role that won't actually be right. And then the third bit that goes with it is be careful, because obviously you're going to manage that person's private information in an appropriate way. So make sure you deal with it, get back, dispose of that person's resume information or private information so you don't get caught.
Yep.
Cool.
If they're looking for a job, who do they speak to?
Oh, yeah.
Beecham Group.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the industry was changing because we've got a few jobs up on the market. And we had, for a developer, we had just under 100 people apply within over a weekend.
Yeah.
So it was nuts. So yeah, but that would explain.
And a ton of AI-generated applications that you got to.
Just makes our job harder in filtering it. Anyway, who
Thank you,
else have
Glenn.
we got, Scott?
Keep Space.
Jesse, are you watching? He will be watching.
So we've got some food at the back. That's courtesy of Keep Space. If you're in e-commerce, if you have to ship goods around the
Who
world.
here is in e-commerce? Who's got an online shop? There's got to be more than there's so much opportunity here. Why are people not building businesses in that area?
Real physical products.
But if you did want to have a physical product and have it shipped, then check out Keep Space. They basically will take it, your product, stick it in their warehouse. When you get orders, they will ship it for you. All done, tidy, And all you have to do is pay a small fee in the delivery costs. So,
Absolutely. And he's an amazing supporter of the Perth startup ecosystem, even though he's moved to Melbourne now to kick things off over there. He comes back here every now and then, does a talk. I know he's keen to do another talk in the middle of the year. And yeah, thanks, Jesse.
We'll run through these quickly. SpaceCube, we couldn't do this without SpaceCube basically helping us out. Subscribe to Startup News, and if you haven't, +8 will be probably, keep the eye out for that, because we'll probably do an opening one here when they kind of explain it, but
yes,
applications for that will open probably in the next 10 weeks.
Cool. Whole range of programs. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to scan a QR code. If you're new to the Perth startup ecosystem, you can chat with it and say, hey, I'm in ag tech or biotech or whatever it is, and it will guide you through to the programs that can help you out using the little co-pilot feature. It's pretty cool, but there's a range of programs.
+8, it's not up there. You need to get out there.
Well, it was on the other slide. We didn't have room.
It's under SpaceCube.
Aha, thank you.
Yeah, just not the logo.
That was a test.
Thanks
You were reading the slides. You passed.
Cool. All right. If you want to get in touch with us, I think we're booked out to like mid-year with talks and things, but we'd still love to get cool people doing talks. So hit us up. Also, big shout out to Slack, morningstartup.com. That's working again. So if you want to join our Slack community in between morning startup events, if you want to have conversations with other founders, we really want to kick that off as like Perth's place for startups to just chat in between. So slack.morningstartup.com. Go and join, take photos of this event, post it, have a chin wag, all of that stuff. That'd be great. Okay, in 2 weeks' time, we have Eduardo, who's coming back. He did a talk a little while ago on influencer marketing. It's one of the best talks that we had that year. He's amazing. He's been doing an experiment on LinkedIn with videos, because they've just launched like the stories feature or something. I don't know. He's been playing around with that, and he's going to share his results of posting like 5 videos a week or 1 video a week, what works, what doesn't work, all of that sort of stuff. So that's going to be fun. So come along 2 weeks' time. I've still got my dad joke. It's formalities out of the way, if you knew. Haven't seen that before.
Tumbleweed.
All right, very good. Let's move on. So where's Kareena? All right. We should do an intro. I was hoping Erin would do an intro because she organised. Yeah, come down here, do the intro, and I'll swap over the slides.
So a round of applause for Erin.
All right, I'm super excited by this one. As you mentioned, we've had an amazing interest from a number of fantastic people. So we've got pretty much the next 6 months of speakers booked out. But I was super excited that Kareena put her hand up to speak today, because one of the conversations I have a lot with founders, they ask about bootstrapping and how do you do bootstrapping for a really long time. Kareena is one of the people who I know in the Perth startup ecosystem who has been bootstrapping for a very long time. So I thought it was really interesting to hear from somebody who as the Chief Grit Officer, can speak to and share their experiences very authentically. I've seen Kareena speak before about her journey, and it's very unique. So hopefully you guys will be inspired as much as I am every time I hear Kareena speak. So over to Kareena.
Thanks, Erin. I put the boots on. Put the bootstrapping. When Erin asked me to talk this morning, she gave me free range in
just flip
topics.
the mic on. I think.
That better?
Let's give you a new mic.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. When Erin asked me to talk today, she gave me free range. Anyone that knows me, that's probably dangerous. And she was either very brave or very silly. So I had a long thought about what I wanted to talk to this audience about, and how I might be able to inspire or save you some of the grief and grey hair and wrinkles that I have got over the last 8 years of my founder journey. I decided to call the talk How I Broke Up with Funding and Said Hello to Acquisition. Just to make it really clear, OneCARD Group was not acquired. I acquired a software company. And I'll show you how we got to that point, and how we got to that point, and how it was pivotal to change our direction of our business. My byline for the talk was, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Now, the audience here is probably, a lot of you are around my age, and you will know where this comes from. It's the song lyrics of a song called The Gambler. And in some ways, when we undertake these startups, this is what we're doing. And it is not an easy journey, but it's probably the most fulfilling journey I have done in my whole career. So I'm not going to use my slides, because when I put my slides together and had to send them before I'd really worked out what I was going to say, my journey hasn't happened in that order. It's probably happened in reverse order. So I want to talk to you about my journey and about what I learned. So I'll give you a bit of backstory. I had the idea of OneCARD, originally Industry OneCARD, for many years before I implemented it. I was a corporate training manager in blue collar and the last 10 years in mining industry, and I was dealing with pretty well shitty software. When digital transformation went through business services, the sexy tech got built. The payroll tech, the safety tech, the HR tech. And gradually each of those tech stacks started to have training management plugins. And that's because training managers like myself were saying to software developers, we need something for training records and employee credentials. So if you go back into your office, you'll see that all those softwares have these plugins. They don't work. And it was absolutely an administrative nightmare. So I had this idea, but like a lot of you in the room, you don't have time or money to implement those ideas. I know I didn't. 4 kids, a corporate job, 12-hour days, there was no time. In December 2016, the company I worked for gave me the opportunity to invest in my business. They employed a HR director that I didn't get on with, and he made me redundant. So I took my redundancy. I took my time over Christmas to work out what I wanted to do, and I was burnt out. It was hard work what I was doing, and I didn't want to go back and have to do that again. And in the back of my head, OneCARD. Get it going. OneCARD. So I sat over a glass of wine with a girlfriend, and we decided she also wanted a bit of a sea change. And by the end of the Christmas period, we decided we're going to give it a crack. We both had run businesses. I, at the time, had an online handbag business going, and that was going great guns. She had run businesses. So setting up a business was not hard. We knew what we were doing. So we worked really, really hard over that 3 months. Get everything set up, got everything ready to go. We engaged the website developer, and that's another story for another day, and that industry should be regulated. Sorry. But when it came to the stack, I was very confident that I could work with a developer and show them the workflows, and I knew exactly what I needed to do to make this software work. I'd drawn the diagrams, the specifications over the years. I'd talked to HR managers, onboarding managers. I got that industry research. But what I didn't know was the database. I had no idea what went on behind the architecture of the workflows. And quite frankly, I didn't know where to find a developer. There wasn't a shop-going developer here, and I wasn't moving in those circles. I had no idea what sort of developer I needed. I knew I needed a secure database because of the records that we kept. So I went back to one of the software companies that I dealt with in my corporate life, and I was an early adopter of their software and had been working with their developers. And I said to him, hey, if I buy this, and pay you to do this, and that's my IP, and I'm going to run a business like this. Will you do it? And they said yes. So happy days. So we signed all the contracts, and my co-founder came to me and she said, I want to walk. She hadn't enjoyed the 3 months of hard work, and I so understood why. Her children were younger. She was in a different phase of her life. There is no good time to lose a co-founder, but if there was a good time to lose a co-founder, it was probably right then before I got started. So I bought her out, and I had my first shit moment. I now had to fund this myself. We were committed. So I had to go back and take a corporate job. So I took a corporate job where I was mobilising scaffolders, painters, all the sort of trades to the floating offshore platforms of Impex and Prelude. And it was a big job, 12-hour days. Coming home, I still had one child at home. I've got 4 kids, 3 grandkids now, so life is busy. And I was coming home and working with the developers, working with the websites, and I was drip feeding. So the second investment into my business was my income. And I was drip feeding into it so that I could grow it. And I kept hearing all this stuff about speed to market, speed to market. But something in the back of my head was telling me, it's okay. Your market is not ready. And a lot of you as entrepreneurs are going to be in a position where you see a perfect storm coming. It doesn't mean it's there yet. And in my case, I knew my industry really well, and I knew that perfect storm was not here yet. So I didn't stress too much. I networked really hard. I was at an opening of a car door. If I saw something, I attended. You know, I was out there. I was growing awareness of my product. And in 2018, I finally launched the platform and the website. And because I'd had the handbag shop, and I used to hear ching ching as somebody bought a handbag, I was thinking, right, I'm going to be flooded. But my contact us box only produced requests for penis enlargements and breast enhancements, you know, and I did not apply for that one. Nothing really came through. Nothing really happened, so I knew I had to network harder. So I started getting clients. And the first client I got that was cold, a gentleman I met at a defence industry forum, he saw it, liked it, he engaged us, and he is still a client of us. So I thought, right, I'm underway. And also what was happening at this point is that I was talking a lot about what I was doing. And I got a lot of people saying to me, that was really cool, Kareena, I'll invest. Let me know when you're going to open up your shares, I'll invest. And these were friends, family, colleagues, network, and they were investors as well. And I was a little bit going, when I want money, it's just going to fall into my lap, you know, show me the money. I had a family member who was a corporate finance person who was retired. He stepped up and said, I'm going to get you investment ready. In the back of my mind, it was still telling me my market wasn't ready. But I was caught up in this hype. I had a tech business. Of course I have to go for funding. No, you don't. So we went through this stage, and my business partner put the forecasts, everything together. He did a really good job, brilliant looking documents. And he said to me, let me handle the pitch. These people are money people. They want to talk to the person with the money. I'll give them reassurance that they'll be working with me. I went, okay, because financial terms flowed off his tongue like golden honey. And I stumbled over saying EBITDA, you know, and I really wasn't confident. We failed. We failed. And the reason we failed was the market wasn't ready. The cheer squad of people that said they'd invest in me were a cheer squad. And they're really important because they kept me focused, but they weren't ready to invest because we weren't ready. But the biggest reason I failed is because I did not pitch. And investors in early stage startups, and we're early stage, we only had 2 or 3 clients, was they're investing in your founder. They didn't want to work with my dude. They didn't want him. They wanted me. And that was a big lesson for me. So my founder, my business partner, walked. So I thought, okay, time to teach myself to pitch. So I read what I could, thought, right, okay, I got this. I'm a training manager. Even though I've never been a trainer, I've trained lots of courses, written lots of courses, and there was an arrogance in me. I thought, I'll nail this. And I was here. I was here at a morning startup. I did a practice pitch. And the only way I can describe that pitch to you was the most cringeful thing I have ever done in my career. It was terrible. It was terrible. I didn't plan for it. I didn't research it. I failed. But the only time you really truly fail is if you don't learn. So after the pitch, people were coming up to me and going, why is training records important? You know, they just didn't understand what I was doing. And like a lot of industry experts that become founders, we're deep in the weeds. To me, it's as clear as glass why everyone needs to sign up for this, but no one really understands it. And I was talking to a whole lot of people, and I noticed a young gentleman standing beside me quietly. And when I finished entertaining the crowd, which I tend to do a little bit, this gentleman stepped forward and introduced himself. And I'll never forget his words. I so understand what you're doing. It is going to be so valuable in the future. It's a great idea. Now, that person's here today, and he became a mentor. He is a relationship I held on to. He had the same values as me. He was a startup founder. And it turned out he was in a similar industry to me. He wasn't a training manager in the mining industry. He was an IT manager up on one of the big platforms. So he saw that perfect storm that is coming. Gabe, do you want to stand up?
Thanks for calling me young.
Yeah. Well, you were back then. So Gabe became a mentor. And all of a sudden I had somebody to talk tech to because I really was a little bit out of my depth. And when you meet people at networking events and they have the same culture and the same values, you hold on to them. Don't abuse the friendship, okay? Don't just think that they're your go-to person for everything. But hold on to those relationships because they're important. Because you never know when they're going to be able to help you or you can help them. I call this the owl investment, okay? If you have got no money and you've got no way to help a startup, you can still be an owl investor. Ask them, who do you need to talk to? And who in my network can I introduce you to? That's what you can do as a startup founder to help others. So after I'd met Gabe and done my cringe full pitch, I then met 3 businessmen. And I met him in a coffee shop, not in a bar, because if I said I met 3 businessmen in a bar, it sounds like the beginning of a joke. And these 3 businessmen engaged me for some bootstrapping work. But when they heard what I had in the tech software, they wanted to help a founder. And the reason being, and this is on the back of Canva's success, where the early adopters of Canva became quite wealthy quite quickly. And all of a sudden, all these business people wanted to help startups. And the only way I can describe the next 9 months was being in a silent disco and everybody's listening to different music. I had no idea what they were doing and they had no idea what they were doing. And it was like we were doing this dance and everybody was doing their own thing. And all I know is that we went to have a meeting, to organise a strategy meeting, to have a meeting. And while this kept me, in a way, they were cheer squad. In a way, they gave me hope that somebody was interested in my business because if anyone is a solo founder, it's lonely and it's challenging. And I was used to running huge teams of mining trainers and all of a sudden, I had a strategy meeting with myself. I was always won the meeting, but I was never right. So having these group of businessmen show an interest helped me keep going. But it got to the stage I thought, what do they want? So anybody that knows me, I'm a pretty direct communicator. So one day I just said to them, this was late 2019, I kept growing the business, we were organically growing, I was bootstrapping and juggling everything, and I said to them one day, what do you want and what are you going to give me? I took the headphones off. And they said, we want 30% of your business and we'll provide this business services for you. And you know what? I actually did consider it because, you know, setting up lawyers, legal, that's expensive. But something in the back of my head said, this is not right, this is not for you. The industry is still not ready. Yeah. Do you really want to? There was a lot of procrastination. And I was getting ready to walk, but then COVID hit. So I didn't have to walk because everything just dissolved. So I actually dodged a bullet in that one. But at that stage of my career and my founder journey, I didn't know how to value my shares properly. I didn't know that you need to hold them. You need to hold them like a newborn baby. You need to not let those shares go because you're going to need them when you scale. So after COVID, our business came out of the gates running. We started attracting marquee clients. I had a pilot going with Carlton United Breweries, which was Asahi. I had WorkSafe Tasmania. God, I did a happy dance that day. A RegTech software having a customer, which was the national regulator. Woohoo, that was pretty cool. And they're still clients. All the clients I'm talking about are still clients. So I thought, right, I need serious money now. So I did a pitch to the Perth Angels. This was my first pitch to the Perth Angels. And I spent time, I researched, I did my pitch, and I failed. I failed because I didn't articulate what I was actually offering. I didn't know what I was prepared to give away. I was waiting for them to tell me what they wanted. You know, I was not ready. And I look back now, and if I had raised funding then, I don't know if we would still be viable. So I thought, right, this is another shit moment. Keep bootstrapping, keep growing my business. Something will happen. I've joined the VentureX ladies, Cheryl down there. When VentureX first started, they ran office days and round tables for female founders. And all of a sudden, I was in a group of women that were going through a similar thing to me. And through Cheryl, I had met Glenn Butcher. So many of you would know Glenn. He's the founder of Fund WA. But Fund WA to Glenn at that time was just his dream to get going. And I engaged him to do some strategy work with me. If you're going to engage someone like Glenn to do strategy work, then be prepared for honest answers. Because I'd had a lot of cheer squad around me going, this is wonderful, this is fantastic. But I needed some home truths about my business. So Glenn had a look at my pitch and he goes, Kareena, you are mixing a sales pitch with an investment pitch. Again, I was in the weeds because I love the fact you push this button on my platform and this happened and that. An investor doesn't want to know that. So he ripped my pitch apart. He ripped everything apart, but then showed me how to put it back together again. He also gave me some hard things to look at, which I didn't like. And when you have strong feedback, which is not what you wanted to hear, you need to listen. And you need to stop and listen. And I've learnt to do that over the years. So Glenn said to me, your third-party software is a barrier for investment and for exit. And this is the first time the word exit had come into my narrative, and I thought, you know, he's right. And that third-party software was becoming a barrier for growth and for scale because it was starting to get grown with the size of the clients I had on board. And I'm thinking, how am I going to take this on a global scale? This was getting difficult. I was starting to do the workarounds so that my clients didn't have to. He also said to me, another barrier you have, Kareena, is that you are a single founder. And that's one I struggled with because I didn't know how to fix it. Was I going to get a blow-up doll and walk into a meeting with it and go, hi, this is me and this is my co-founder? How do you get a co-founder when you are a single founder? That one, and that did my head in because I'm a problem solver and I couldn't solve that problem. I didn't think I could solve it. And so I did what I always do is I kept going. I kept bootstrapping and I kept growing my business organically. And then I got the phone call that no founder wanted. The third-party software company contacted me and said, we need to retire the software you're on. It won't do two-factor authentication. We won't do any more programming for you. We will look after the security for 18 months, but you either will need to move to our new platform for squillions of dollars, or you'll need to find something else. And that was a big shit moment. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I'm not a wealthy person. Everything I had was sunk into my business. I'm not a young person, so going back and thinking, what am I going to do? So I did an ostrich. I put my head in the sand, tried to ignore it, and thinking, I'll find a way. Somehow I will find a way, but at that point of time I did not know. So I did what I knew, kept going to networking, kept promoting my business, keep building relationships of trust. Building relationships of trust. Now I sit on the board of Henderson Alliance, which is the Defence F&Es. I've been with them 5 years. And I see people come to our networking events, they come to one and then don't go. And I said, why didn't you go? Oh, it wasn't for me, no one talked to me. I said, mate, especially in the defence industry, you've got to build that trust. You've got to be there for the long haul and you've got to believe in your product. So I knew I had something good. I also knew the industry was starting to get a little bit warmer. You know, the fire was starting to burn under the compliance. And I still didn't know what I was going to do. And this is about the time my adult children took me aside and said, we didn't have a mother-daughter talk or a mother-son talk. We had a son-mother-daughter talk. Mum, what the fuck are you doing? Why don't you go get a job? And I went, no, I'm going to do this. They did that to me as toddlers, so I could do it back to them. So I kept going. And I started getting around to software companies to find out how much it was going to cost me to build this platform. And I had City of Wanneroo, I had Carlton United Breweries, I had WorkSafe Tasmania, I had mining clients, I had marquee clients on my client. So I couldn't just build an MVP, I had to build a pretty sophisticated platform to transfer those clients. And it was costly. So I engaged with a software company at the end of, I can't remember the date, and I decided to go with them. I said, look, just wait until after Christmas. I'll be getting some big checks in then and we can start then and we'll get going. Over that time, unfortunately, the software company went into liquidation. It was so sad for them, but I actually dodged a bullet. So here I was again thinking, what am I going to do? The clock is ticking. And then one day I was sitting at my desk doing what I always do, is trying to work out what to do. And I got a phone call from a very a soft-voiced gentleman who said, oh, hi, Kareena. I've been recommended to talk to you. I'm a software developer and I have a company called Smart Company Software. And me and my partner have a platform called Employee Training Manager. And I was recommended by someone that you need a software developers and we need someone that understands this business. So that was Jeff, who is not a blow-up doll. He is my co-founder. But that lead came from a very unexpected place. Jeff was interviewed for a job as an engineer, and during the interview he very honestly said to the person, hey, me and my mate have got a side hustle. We've got a business, Smart Company Software. It has been going for about 12 years as desktop, moved into cloud in 2020. We've got about 6 clients in America and UK, but we really don't know what we're doing. And when I was being interviewed, the person said, you need Kareena and she needs you. And the person interviewing Jeff was Gabe. So you never know when your network is going to step up and really help. You never know the impression you're going to make on people or where this is going to come from left field. So Jeff and his partner and myself, I acquired Smart Company software. We came together, and over the last 18 or 2 years, they built the platform. We're all bootstrapping. Built the platform because Jeff is actually working 4 days a week with Gabe and now 1 day a week with us. So we share the love and the brilliance. But over that time, we built not just the platform I thought about, it was the platform I dreamt about. And in July 2024, we transitioned all our clients smoothly onto the new platform, and I think we had about a week and a half to go before they closed that software down. Whew. We then didn't stop there. The little platform in America, I had been nurturing that a little bit, and we'd got it up to about 24 clients. And we made the decision that we were going to not fix that up, but clone what we had built here, put it on a gateway, see it, trial it, put your credit card in, off you go. And it's a true little SaaS platform. And to do that, we needed to raise capital. So we went back to the Perth Angels. And I did a pitch to the Perth Angels. And we were considered to be investable. And the Perth Angels funded our first seed round in 2024. And Mick's here, he's the chair of the Perth Angels. He's also one of our investors. So we were able to launch our second platform into the US on the 5th of December at West Tech Fest. And over the Christmas period, we have 6 companies from America and UK on trial on our platform. So it has been an onerous journey to get where we are. And I've had to buy lots of hair colour from Coles to colour the grey. And honestly, I feel like I've got the battle scars. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it for the world. There is, when I did this saying about being a gambler, we are gambling. I gambled with my house, my super, my relationships with my family. I gambled with everything. But the difference is when you're running a software business that you know is going to go, is that you can control it. When you've totally gambled to buy lotto, you've got no control. So I just want to quickly recap. Hold on to your shares. In the beginning, I didn't realise how valuable and how many I was going to need, and they disappear quickly. Be patient. Just because you get caught up in this tech hype, you don't have to go for money. All those failed attempts, false starts, false profits that I went through, when I didn't get any money, I still found a way to survive. Okay, I still was able to survive. So don't just go to default, we need money, and we haven't got money, so we're going to throw the teddies out of the cot and go home. Use your resourcefulness, become as gritty as you can be. Nurture the relationships you make. Don't abuse the relationships, but nurture them. And focus on how to move your business. When you fold something, that means the deal was not right for you. Walk away. Folded deals, it's not going anywhere, close it down, you know. When I started this journey, I heard a lot of things about pivots. I didn't know what a pivot was. I realised it was a stuff up, and I'd done lots of those. So, you know, embrace your pivots because they make your business grow. Beware of the time wasters. There's a fine line between your cheer squad and your time wasters. And your time as a founder is really important. Listen, learn, and pivot. I'm a very outgoing person, but when I don't understand something, I go very, very quiet. And I try and listen and find out and try and get the information so I can process it. Know when to walk away. There is absolutely no shame in walking away, and there's no shame in people walking away from you. because if the planets aren't aligned, it's not going to work. Trust your instincts. This spidey sense in the back of my head tingles often. And I've learned in my life, in my relationships, the times that I have overridden that spidey sense and gone, nah, she'll be right, I've crashed and burnt. Listen to that instinct. It's there for a reason. And know when to run. And knowing when to run is just not running away from a bad deal. Know it when it is time to put your foot to the pedal and run with your business. And that's what OneCARD is doing now. Thank you so much for your time.
Far out. That was amazing. Thanks, Kareena. That was a really
too long?
awesome story. No, spot on. We've got a few minutes for questions. Does anyone have some burning questions? More details they want to pull out of Kareena? Or maybe you, after that, just want to get to know Gabe. Sounds like...
No, he's mine.
Thanks for a pretty amazing story that you shared with us, Kareena. I was curious, so what do you think is the key difference between working with an external provider that was managing your software versus now that you have your own software? What do you think are the key differences in those two situations?
Jeff? Look, the third-party software, because it wasn't set up to be a third-party software for startups, I sort of took a business that had a business model and convinced them to do my thing. So that was probably a first mistake, but it was a comfortable mistake because I did know that that software was going to be safe. I think the hardest thing for me is because their software was a global software. When I asked them to do things, they said no. Oh, we can't do that because it's going to affect others. Also, I wasn't a priority. And they sort of, we'll get back to you, we'll do that in 3 months. So at that stage, when I was drip feeding them money, and that sort of, I had to accept that. But the hardest thing was that scalability. And what Glenn explained to me was owning that IP for exit, and it would have put red flags and barriers up for anyone that wanted a trade sale or anything for us. But the whole idea of that platform was to get me to the stage where we could build our own. But it wasn't an MVP because we had great clients on it, but it was that stepping stone. In my maturity, I knew enough about tech to be damn dangerous. And Jeff won't let me near anywhere the back end of the stacks that we have now. So, so I think it was that lack of team commitment to our project. And I just enjoy working with people that have got the same vision and value to make this business run.
More questions?
Great story. First of all, what do you think it made difference for your business? Sure, you're not the first person coming up with an idea to make a training software. My wife actually works with another software here in Perth, and she's so frustrated the hell out of her, because she's really into the weeds and making sure that the software is right. What makes your business tick and be successful compared to the ones around here?
So often the ones around that, and again, I suppose I was in a position over 20 years, I used a lot of those softwares that were plugs in, and they were developed by developers, a little bit like what Jeff and his partner were to start with, where they understood it, but they didn't understand the workflows, and they didn't understand what a training manager in a busy environment, especially the mining environment, needs, and the workflows they need this to do. A lot of the systems were focused on the data and not on the user experience. And like I've used SAP before and that, and if you walked away to the toilet, you forgot how to use it, and you have to make it simple, you have to make it powerful, and you have to make it beautiful. And we've spent time doing that. But also, it is just so intuitive. and anyone that has to look after these records, and these records could be anything from accountants, CBT, all doesn't have to be training and licence records. Our clients use it for a range of different things. Carlton United Brewery, we turn 2,000 skill sets, 2,000 work instructions into skill sets for them. So there's flexibility. So I think the fact that our software has been built not just by software engineer experts, but by industry experts has made the difference.
Could you just touch on the managed? So one of the things that attracted me to OneCARD at the start was we had unopinionated software that we'd built and put out there, go ahead, use it. The problem was people needed more than that, and OneCARD actually has a managed version, and that's one of the things that attracted me to OneCARD, in that, okay, there's software and people can buy your software, but they need more than software. They need someone to go, this is how it should be worked, and we can do that, and we do a lot of managed services for people. So I think that's a big part of what makes OneCARD what it is.
And I'll just expand on that. So our enterprise platform is managed. So there's certain features in that we've locked out for our clients they can't do, because I know that that's where they're going to screw the data. And in my experience, once your data starts corrupting, the company will say in 2 to 3 years, oh, this software is shit, we need a new one. So they employ a new one and data dump the crap into the new one, and then it doesn't last as long. So we gave an offer to busy companies that we would manage it. With Employee Training Manager, the new one we've built, there is no, we give great customer service, help them set up, but they manage it themselves. But we've also started a hybrid model with that, where I'm using safety consultants, HR consultants, training consultants, that they can build a business around our software, where they introduce the software to their clients, and then they do the auditing and the helping setting it up and the data cleanse of the data. So we're adopting a little bit. I studied Rod Dury's model when he relaunched Xero, and instead of selling to every business that needed Xero, he sold to the accountants, and the accountants then sold it to their clients and managed it for their clients. So that is what we're doing, and we have a gentleman starting in Indonesia now. He boots on the ground in Indonesia, and I'm just negotiating with some HR consultants in the UK. So we'll put our platform in, we'll get the companies on board, and then they can value add services to our platform. It's a win-win for us because they keep their clients happy. We also keep our clients sticky. So, they're not about to chuck us out the door because the data gets really crap. And in training records with many hands touching the data, that can happen.
Cool. Was there a question here? Hey, Kareena. Fantastic story and great storytelling as well. In terms of your early pitches where you were seeking to get some investment, what was because obviously you've then turned out to acquire a platform as well. What were your intentions with the investment that you were looking to take in at the time?
Pardon? Sorry.
Yeah, what were you able to do with the investment there with your platform or with your product at the time during those early pitches? So in terms of the level of investment, what was your roadmap there for using those funds potentially for growth?
So my first investments to use the funds was for like a marketing campaign, awareness campaign, to actually, because we until recently have never done a Google Ads campaign, we've never been able to afford to. It was to actually launch it, do some trade shows to grow the business, and of course bring on development staff, and always in the back of my mind to build my own platform. But I think some of those early ones was just to try and find where we fitted in a team. And we did get caught, everyone gets caught up in that hype of those early days that you've got a tech business, you've got to be funded. You don't. So I don't think I had a clear roadmap, and I don't think I had a clear message. But I was just doing the mechanisms because that was what we expected a startup founder to do. So my advice is just listen to your industry, listen to where you're going, and just slow it down or speed it up depending on what industry sector you're in. Does that answer you?
All right, we've got time for one more question. This guy put his hand up first.
One of the appeals of being a founder is that you don't think you have a boss. But from your experience, it sounds like the investor term sheet is now your new employment contract. So in that kind of context, when you get to a point where you're feeling burnt out, likely to be squeezed out, how do you renegotiate your contract with your boss, who are effectively the investors?
I don't think I'd be investing in anybody that wanted to be my boss, I'm sorry. I don't see it that way. My investors are partners. We've only just taken on the first lot of investors, and they're quiet investors. They're allowing me to run the business. And I must say I have had times where I've had people that wanted to invest in the business, but I also got the feeling they also wanted to run the business, and they're the ones I went and didn't go ahead. No, if you go into any relationship, whether it's with developers, whether it's with investors, it's the marriage, you know, and sometimes you get your marriages wrong. I've got one wrong, you know, going okay with the second one. But I don't see my investors as my boss. I think as we grow and scale, that might change, but at the moment my investors are partners, they're our support, and they are encouragement, and they believe in what we're doing, and they let me do what I need to do. Does that answer the question? Thank you.
Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Kareena. Please join me in thank you, Kareena. Amazing. Well, you know, I think we've been abandoned by both Erin and Dave. They've had to run off to meetings, so it's just us. Oh, Erin's there. Hey, you're back. Ooh. As I said, in 2 weeks' time, we have Eduardo coming to talk about videos on LinkedIn and how to make that succeed. So come along and check that out. In the meantime, one thing I didn't actually do a plug for earlier was Founder Sundowner. So on the first Wednesday of every month, we do have another meetup in a pub. Come along to the other side of nowhere and join us for drinks, whenever that is, first Wednesday. In the meantime, we've got a great amount of food at the back. Please help yourselves, get to know each other, especially Gabe. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Cheers.
That's cool. Awesome. She's a amazing storyteller. I was just engaged.
Yeah, I know.